From the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications, your home for the latest Marshall University news and sports, you're watching MU Report.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for this third edition of MU Report Fall 2017. I'm Kayla Simmons.
And I'm Ryan Murphy. We're a student-produced newscast of the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University. And we air this broadcast not only on West Virginia Public Broadcasting, but also Network West Virginia and YouTube. Now, on to our top story. In the coming days, Marshall administrators will crunch the numbers and see exactly how many students enrolled this fall.
That number is important for many reasons, mostly because it relates directly to the financial health of the school. When school started, President Jerome Gilbert estimated a drop of about 200 students, to 1,800 from 2,000. He's since said the official count comes out this month. He says given the legislature's continued cuts, Marshall has no choice but to be even more aggressive about recruiting because recruiting increases enrollment and that keeps enough money flowing to stay out of the red. It could be the biggest campus-wide issue, and some say the biggest unaddressed issue at Marshall. We're talking about the school's Wi-Fi system, the backbone of the wireless internet, as Kyra Bizkarner reports. Despite big steps to deliver fast, reliable service everywhere, several big dead spots continue to make things dark.
Students across campus have found themselves struggling with campus-wide Wi-Fi issues. As Marshall's IT services have made updates to the wireless internet on campus, some students believe the Wi-Fi has only been made worse. Sophomore Gentry Hyde says she believes the Wi-Fi has only become worse after updates.
They say they're updating and trying to make it better, but to me, it just disconnects more often. Even though it says you have a strong signal, it's still really slow.
Living directly on campus means being required to be on Marshall Wi-Fi. Justine Jaga, a sophomore who lives on campus, says she thinks the recent updates have improved the Wi-Fi across campus.
I think usually overall throughout the campus it's pretty good. Lately there have been a few issues where it'll come on and off. It hasn't been so great over the past few weeks, but I feel definitely the semester has been better than before.
In the midst of midterm, students are constantly in need of strong Wi-Fi. Hyde says it's difficult to live in the residence halls and get work done on Marshall Wi-Fi.
It's rough because I guess there's so many people on the Wi-Fi that it makes it really slow, and even though it says you have signal, you actually don't. And I know I'll be in the middle of an assignment and I'll lose connection, and then I'll lose my work and I'll have to start all over again because of it.
Whether living on campus or off, all students need a strong Wi-Fi on Marshall's campus. Students use it in buildings such as Drinkle Library, the Memorial Student Center, and classroom buildings. Any concerns with Wi-Fi on campus can be directed to Marshall IT Services on the first floor of Drinkle Library. Kyra Bizkarner, MU Report.
Students really need reliable Wi-Fi more than ever with the recently concluded midterm exam season. Midterms traditionally happen in week 8 of the 16-week-long Marshall semester. In what's become a ritual reaching back at least a century, students have hunkered down for long, late-night study sessions. As Matt Groves reports, all that studying gets very stressful, and everybody knows stress needs relief.
This time of the year brings at least two things to Marshall University students: midterm exams and stress. Marshall University's Into Center is taking action to relieve stress for students.
Everyone experiences stress in some way, shape, or form. Students experience stress quite often with their studies. I remember being stressed out, studying and for exams and getting homework done in college, so I'm sure that a lot of students are going through that right now too.
Jones says that he thinks Into students have to undergo different types of stress than domestic students on campus.
I know domestic students experience homesickness, and it's probably very hard for them to be away from their family, but it's a little different for international students being in a completely different country.
I think because this is the first time they are not used to the pattern around here, how the exam goes and everything, so this is their first test. So yeah, obviously they'll be a little more stressed when compared to the other students.
To help relieve stress, Into allowed students to come in and have some fun while popping a bubble wrap wall.
It's a good way to help people to come around and they can just share their thoughts about what they're stressed about, and I think bubble wrap popping the bubble wrap is one of the best things to relieve your stress.
I think they come together and gather in here and talk to some people and do some fun activities together.
Marshall University's Into Center is working diligently to bring stress relief programs like this one to students each semester. Matthew Groves, MU Report.
With the end of midterms also comes the beginning of flu season, and so many students are up close to one another that the spread of the flu virus can cripple any school. As Adam Stevens reports, it's why the Marshall Student Wellness Center gave out as many free flu shots as they could earlier this month.
Just one vaccine can keep you flu-free.
We want to make sure that our students have the best protection possible.
The Marshall Wellness Center provided free flu shots to Marshall students and staff in the Student Center to try and prevent an outbreak here on campus.
So if you yourself get the flu shot and keep yourself from getting it, then you won't spread it to other people.
The flu shots were given by upper-level nursing students, which allowed them to get hands-on experience with their future profession.
It's a great service learning opportunity for our students because our student nurses are here practicing giving the vaccinations too.
It's really good practice. We don't get a lot of shots in the hospital because most of the nurses get to do it, but so this is really good practice to learn how to give intramuscular shots and get to meet people.
With the prediction of an especially bad flu season, plus the threat of falling behind in class, officials say getting a flu shot this year is a no-brainer. Adam Stevens, MU Report.
October's Fire Safety Month nationwide, and Marshall's campus, the issue takes on special significance. As Sabrina Hurst reports, that's because Marshall is a city to itself, protected, fortunately, by the folks at the nearby Fire Station Number 2.
October is Fire Safety Month, and Huntington Fire Station 2 is the front line for Marshall University students.
Main cause of fires on campus is unattended cooking and falling asleep while smoking. And the main way you can stop that is not smoke while you're in bed or sleepy, and pay attention to your cooking.
Residence halls are a primary threat for campus fires. It is important that students are aware of what to do in case of a fire so that no lives are harmed.
The first thing they should do is pull a fire alarm. They're located near every exit, and call 911 and make sure everyone gets out. That's a problem we have, is a lot of people do not leave the building when a fire alarm is activated.
Pulling the fire alarm is an important action in case of a fire. However, sometimes it can be abused.
Pulling the fire alarms, it's a false sense. I mean, if there's something, not an emergency, it can put a lot of panic into the students. A lot of students take it serious, some students don't, but the ones that do, it's a sense of false panic.
Students can help prevent fires by avoiding open flame candles, heaters, and being more careful while cooking.
People do not change the batteries in their smoke detectors, and we try to remind everyone twice a year when the time changes to change the batteries in your smoke detectors.
Students living on campus should be aware of all the escape routes and take every fire alarm seriously. Sabrina Hurst, MU Report.
A recent statewide vote for road construction passed convincingly. Voters agreed West Virginia could go into debt by selling bonds to raise enough money for major road repairs. As the Night Belay reports, Marshall commuters say while they'll benefit from the improvements, the construction delays will create some headaches too.
Marshall University's commuter students will no longer have to worry about poor road conditions when traveling to school.
The roads are really terrible. You have to drive on the other side of the road sometimes if there's no cars coming, just to not hit a huge pothole.
The Bonds for Roads and Bridges measure was approved with overwhelming support from West Virginians to improve state roads.
There are a lot of places with huge potholes, and I'd like those to be fixed because you're just sitting around in the car and then it suddenly swerves and not fun, or if you go into a giant pothole. So I mean, that would be pretty good, especially if you don't want to break your car.
The bonds fall under Governor Jim Justice's roads infrastructure spending plan, but some commuters like Blair Chapman say that their past experience with road conditions makes them uneasy about the traffic from roadwork the bond will bring.
Last year there was a really bad wreck, and I couldn't come to class because it was over an hour and I just would have been late anyway, so I just couldn't go. And road work at nighttime, if we have to stay on campus, they have lanes closed, so it's kind of hard to get back at a decent hour.
The road work to come may cause some hassle, commuters say, but their safety while traveling is important.
Hopefully it makes the roads safer and better to travel on the way to school.
Commuters say although the road work and repairs to come may slow them down, they'll soon be on their way to faster commute times. Denai Belai, MU Report.
The nearly $2 billion bond will pay for several big-ticket items, not least of which is staffing the Department of Highways to make road repairs. The governor says lawmakers will help with priorities and an oversight group will help keep contractors on task.
Marshall's homecoming game against Old Dominion of Virginia helped punctuate the midseason in sports.
Courtney Andrews joins us now with our sports report.
Marshall rolled over Old Dominion in the homecoming game this past weekend, 35-3. The win was a perfect cap-off to a great homecoming week of activities, including a parade, a king, queen, and court, and now the famous WMUL Car Bash. Fans say the best part of the game, 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Even though it's fall and football season is in full swing, Herd fans can start getting ready for basketball season. Junior point guard Jon Elmore returning to the Herd instead of going pro should get Herd fans excited.
Jon Elmore, Marshall's star point guard, decided to return to the Herd after dabbling in the NBA market. After last season, Elmore felt like his Marshall career wasn't over yet.
I just wasn't finished yet. I remember how we went out last year getting beat in the championship and knew I wanted to kind of end my career on a different note. So I've got some big goals for this year, and that includes winning the conference championship and going to NCAA tournament. So I'm fired up and ready to go.
Elmore posted big numbers for the Herd last season. He led both the team and conference in scoring. He was 40th in the nation in points per game and 16th in the nation in assists.
Well, obviously he was last year's best player, first team Conference USA. Having him back in a leadership role, point guard especially in our system, is tremendous for Marshall, and we're expecting big things from him.
Last season, he led the team in field goals, free throws, free throw attempts, and steals. But Elmore's return is bigger than just his numbers. Being from West Virginia, playing at Marshall is more than just basketball for him.
It's awesome. My family gets to come to every game. They got season tickets. My brother's on the team. A lot of kids that I grew up with playing against are on this team as well. So it's just the West Virginia camaraderie that comes with the state and the tight-knit kind of family atmosphere here, and I love it here.
Elmore has already been named the Conference USA Preseason Player of the Year by College Sports Madness.
The first time Herd fans could check out Elmore and the rest of the men's basketball team was at Rock the Rec, where both the men's and women's basketball programs promote their seasons. Rock the Rec is a chance for basketball programs to get students involved and excited for their upcoming seasons. Both basketball teams, coaches, and players get introduced to Herd fans.
This is good for our guys to come out and interact with the student body. We really like getting out here with the students, letting the student body meet our guys, get to know our guys before the season starts.
We were just vibing off each other. The fans were vibing off us. We were vibing off the fans. They got involved. We got them involved. And just the fan base with us is just big for us. Packing the Henderson for our home games, that's what we love to do.
The players and students alike participate in competitions such as a three-point contest, a dunk contest, and a small-sided scrimmage. The students and players say they enjoy the atmosphere Rock the Rec brings to Marshall basketball. The men's team plays its first exhibition game October 29th against West Virginia Tech, and the women's program opens up its season at home versus Longwood November 10th.
Thanks, Courtney. That's all we have for today for this edition of MU Report. Our newscast is completely generated by students in the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications. MU Report is a television lab, and we're glad you're watching. You can always catch this newscast on YouTube, and be sure to follow our reporters on Twitter and MU Report on Facebook. Direct any questions to our advisor, Dr. Christopher Swindell. Email swindell@marshall.edu. I'm Ryan Murphy.
And I'm Kayla Simmons. Have a great day.